Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Listen, glad to have you guys here. It looks like everything's going to happen in October. Today is September 26, 2019. It's a Thursday. Like I was saying, everything's going to happen in October. Everything's lining up for October. We've got this whole controversy over the Ukraine call, and we got that going on. We still have problems in the financial system nobody's talking about. Watching Deutsche Bank this morning, Deutsche Bank's starting to lose steam again. They're starting to go down. Not a lot. They're not down to the lowest level yet, but they're going down. Italy hasn't resolved any of its problems, and nobody's talking about that anymore at all. Huge slowdown going on in China. Of course, the Chinese have went into a new round of stimulus, but in order to support that stimulus, they need to have a vibrant economy, which they haven't got. There is this trade tariff business that's going on between China and the United States. This is probably the biggest key element that's going to come up in October along with Brexit. Those are the two biggies. Now, the markets, they really have high hopes on a trade deal and on more economic stimulus. These are the two things that are holding the market up, is hope for more stimulus and the trade deal. 2 weeks we got. We got 2 weeks to wait, or thereabouts, right around that amount of time before these trade talks happen between the United States and China. What'll be the outcome? Now, let's get the chart started right here and take a look at this. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that China and the United States in 2 weeks will really come to some sort of a big deal and solve and resolve this issue? I'm going to lay odds on it. I'm going to say there's probably only about a 30% chance of them coming to a deal. That's my opinion only. That's what I'm thinking to myself, But there is about a 30% chance, I think, that they'll actually have a deal hammered out. And I'm going to tell you, if they do hammer out a deal, this is going to have a big effect upon the markets. The market's moving upwards. But until then, people are worried. And these companies that use rare earth minerals in their production process and whatever, they're worried that possibly there won't be any deal and things might even get worse. China could cut off rare earth minerals to the United States. So what they're doing is China's August rare earth exports to the United States jump amid a threat of an export ban. And so they're collecting these. China has these rare earth minerals. Look, they're using a giant electromagnet to pull the rare earth minerals out of the ground. They're in China. It's not like rare earth minerals are something on the earth that's hard to find. We have rare earth minerals here in America and here in Canada. We have them. It's just that China's become the main exporter and main actual supplier to the world of these rare earth minerals. So these companies are stocking up ahead of time. In case China shuts down shipments of these rare earth minerals, they could use that as an economic tool, China, and everybody knows it. Let's get into the markets now, and let's take a look at what's going on. We did see quite a drop in silver and gold, and that's because the dollar rallied. That's why, And we're looking at a silver price of $17.98 bid, $18.08 ask. It's up 11 cents on the day right now, but we've seen a big drop in the last 24 hours. But she's starting to rise back up again right now because the dollar's starting to settle back down a little bit. And so let's take a look at gold today. See what's happening here with gold. And gold is up $7.30, $15.10 bid, $15.11 ask. And we can see that little green arrow shooting skyward right now, so it's heading back up into its range that it established for itself. Its new range, which runs between 1520 and 1530. and it's shooting back up to that 15.10. She's shooting up. Let's root for it to keep going. Let's see, cryptocurrency today. Market cap at 220 billion. Cryptocurrency is struggling now to stay above $8,000. And you know, just a couple days ago, it was up at $10,000. We've seen a significant drop in market capitalization. It was 265 billion like 2 days ago. Now it's 220 billion. That's a pretty good little drop in market cap. 68.3% Bitcoin dominance. And we're seeing most of the coins settling back down in price. We're looking at Bitcoin at 83.96, Ethereum 169 bucks, XRP is 24 cents, Bitcoin Cash is $223, Litecoin is 57.02, EOS is $2 and looks like $2.85. I got to get a good pair of glasses, but my car's been broke. I'm working to try to get a car again, so I can get in and buy some things, you know, I need. Anyway, Dow Jones Industrial average today. Minus 21.56. Let me refresh the page. It's minus 15. Today is just one of those days. Seems like the Dow is going along a little bit sideways today. But let's take a look at the oil price. See what it's doing. 56.03 for an oil price. Down 46 cents on the day so far. Now, you know, this oil has just about erased all the gains it made after what happened over there with the Saudis, you know, getting their oil production cut off. It's erased most all the gains it made. It made sudden gains, and now it's come back down to where it was, and maybe it could even go a little bit lower, but it's 46 cents. This is with all the turmoil over there. And the oil price is still staying really low, you know. It must have been getting ready for a drop in price when all of that happened, you know. That's the only thing I can figure, because, I mean, the oil price has not moved off the floor too much here. It's still down. This is actually cheap oil, really, you know. And it's right at that certain price level where United States oil producers have a hard time, you know. They need like $60 or $70 oil to really start cutting profits, you know. And when it's $56 like this, I mean, you know, it's right at that price area where they can. If it was like $40 or $30, they wouldn't make any profit. But $56, just in that price range, where they're making a little bit of profit, but they certainly are not making a killing, you know, on these oil wells, because they have a certain cost per barrel to get it out of the ground, especially with, see, the cheapest oil's over in Saudi Arabia. Those guys can get it out of the ground for like $20 a barrel, because it basically just comes up the pipe. They don't have to do much. You know, there's no real costs. But for the American oil drillers, they have to go down there and use shale oil. They have to go after it with high pressure and everything else, you know. And it's an awful lot more cost involved. So their per barrel price is higher. I think it's around, Saudis, I think, can pull it out of the ground for something like around 20. And the American oil producers, you know, out in the Permian, where they got these shale oil wells, it costs them $30, $40, sometimes even $50 just to get it out of the ground, depending on where they're at and how deep it is, you know. And so there's a difference there in cost of production that has to be accounted for. So their overhead costs and everything, when they get right down to the bottom line, they have to have a higher priced oil. Now up here in Canada, we have the tar sands, which even cost more. And right now, it's almost being cost prohibitive. But, you know, if oil prices go up a lot, then the Canadian tar sands becomes very viable again. Let's take a look now at U.S. Treasuries. U.S. Treasuries are... oh, by the way, just wanted to mention one more thing. The Canadian tar sands I believe, in my personal opinion, are the biggest last oil reserve on Earth, but it's hard to get. you know, but if we get low everywhere else, the tar sands is like 196 billion barrels. Venezuela, I think, is like 46 billion or something like that. Venezuela's got a lot of oil too, you know, and uh, it's one of the last of the bigger. Now the Saudis claim that they have over 200 billion barrels, but they've been tapping for that for the longest time. And from what I understand is some of their wells, they have to pressurize them with seawater. Um, they're not really given figures about how much is actually left in Saudi Arabia oil. They might have used half of it or even more over the years. So the Canadian tar sands with 196 billion, and you're looking at oil reserves in Saudi Arabia. They said they had like 260 billion, but they've been tapping at it for years. So the Canadian tar sands actually might be the biggest oil reserve if they were to go and do a study on it and find out who has the biggest oil reserve that's actually left in the ground. Let's take a look now at the treasuries here. Treasuries yields are falling today, and quite significantly on the long end of the curve. We're looking at the U.S. 5-year with the biggest falls. Well, it was at 5 basis points. Now it's 4.9. But very large falls in yields. They're moving into the dollar. This is why the dollar's been going up too. Let's take a look at the dollar today. 98.85. And it was up to 96. It was up to like 96.16 or whatever. Let me see the highest peak here. 96.11. Right here, I think, is the highest peak. 99. 99.12. It was over 99. 99.12. Yeah, it was the highest. It was 99.12 earlier today. Now it's dropped back a little bit into the 98s, and we see the gold price responding a little bit to this drop back in the price of oil. Listen, thank you guys for listening to this show, and stay tuned. We're going to have tremendous turbulence coming up, tremendous turmoil coming up in October. I can't see us getting through October. We got too many things, too many irons in the fire coming into October. Things like Brexit at the end. I think that's going to be the cherry on top of the cake, is the Brexit in October. But then before that comes, we got an awful lot of stuff going on in October, and including now this whole big controversy over a Russian phone call. Anyway, not Russian, sorry, Ukraine phone call. Listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.